Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. I am live, it says, and if I can get some confirmation in the chat, we are going to have a slight delay doing that for the stream health so that everything looks good, so that we have good quality. Hopefully I'm going to stay away from some buzzwords tonight, and yeah, I'm not sure about that guy either, Florida Sunsprite. Anytime people have outrageous claims without any kind of evidence, I'm always very leery of them. The kind of stuff that we're into, that we're talking about with our favorite Anon, that's different because there's actual proofs, and everybody knows that. All right, so it looks like we have go time. Everybody can hear me in the chat. Right now on the screen, you guys should be seeing my Friday Night Live banner that I made for tonight. I had to recycle another one. This week has been crazy, you guys. We had an incredible snowstorm here, and it was like, over a foot of snow. It's like negative 30 degrees outside. It's just insanity. All right, so it looks like it's sounding good. Patriot Hour got shut off? Oh my God, really? Oh, wow, that's scary. That's really scary. All right, well, I hope everybody understands that I do not want to get shut off. I want to keep my channel. I want to keep everything intact here. So you can see on the banner, over here on the left-hand side, upper left-hand corner, that is my good friend, Harry Hubbard. That is my friend Harry Hubbard from the Illinois Caves. Harry Hubbard is like a rebel archaeologist, scholar, author, researcher. One night, a couple weeks ago, I accidentally uploaded a video that was supposed to go on Harry's channel to my channel, and a whole bunch of people saw it, and I took it down like what I thought was right away, but evidently it was up there for a couple minutes, and a lot of people saw it. So I had a lot of people telling me that they really wanted me to tell them more about Harry Hubbard. So Harry was going to be on the show tonight with another special guest I'll tell you about in a moment. And Harry had to move it to next week. So not only because, of his schedule, but because of what happened in my life this week with the insanity. So next week, Friday night, Harry Hubbard of the Illinois Caves is going to be with us. Tonight, we have my friend, Remorseful CEO, Wes Climbers, the founder and art mind behind Death Valley Press. Wes is an author. He is a video game designer, it seems like. There's a lot of things that Wes has going on under his belt. He's also a father and a patriot and a husband. He's a great guy, really great guy. So we're going to hear from Wes tonight. Wes is here. I want to show you guys his projects. Because I think it's really important for us to support each other as patriots and people in the truth movement. There are a lot of people out there, and they're not all necessarily reputable. You can pretty much say whatever you want because, you're either anonymous or it's the internet. But I feel like I have a fairly good beacon for like who's a good person and who's not a good person. Wes, Remorseful CEO, he is a really good person. See somebody in the chat saying that Bill Smith's channel is back. Bill Smith's channel is back. I was certainly concerned about him myself over the last 5 or 6 months. Waiting on... Hey, Diana, welcome back. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the super chat. I was one of those people that was eagerly anticipating the return of Bill Smith, and now that he's back... He's making videos. Very glad to have him back in the YouTube community and the truth community. I would love to hear from Bill Smith. I have sent him a couple of messages. I know that my buddy Mike, Space Shot, he has also been trying to reach out, but nobody can seem to get a hold of Bill. I'm sure that he's very busy. If he had stuff going on in his life, things happen to everybody, you guys. So I'm not holding it against Bill for having disappeared, although I really would like to know what happened to him. So I also want to remind everyone that after tonight's live stream at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be appearing on Space Shot 76's channel for a live stream. Karma Anon, oh, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. Glad you're here. So I'm going to be on Space Shot's live stream. So if everybody wants to migrate with me over to Space Shot 76. He's rebranding it as World Patriot News. I think that's a great moniker there, WPN. Then you guys can come over there and you can hang out with me and Mike and Hulkinator and Country and maybe Truth Not Fiction Matters and maybe RDoc. I think RDoc's going to be there, but a bunch of really great people, you know, just like picking apart the week's news and seeing what's been going on in this crazy world we live in right now. All right, so first off, before I bring Wes on, we've got Wes on the line live from an undisclosed location somewhere in this great country of ours. And he's live on Discord. So, but first, I am going to show you guys a promotional video that kind of sums up what Wes has done and what he's doing, what he wants to do. And that is for his entertainment company, Death Valley Press. All right, so everyone, hold on to your seats because it's live.
Man, that was pretty good. That was all right.
Did I forget to mention that Wes is also a puppeteer? Oh, hold on. Oh, I got to get rid of this before I get a copyright. All right, so yes, I have a couple people I need to thank. First of all, Shannon Templeton, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Jackie Bain. Jackie says, NAACP calls for Virginia governor resignation. Ooh, yeah. Is blackface worse than baby killing? I don't know about that one. I think that a lot of people seem to think that it is. But personally, I think that when it comes to the issue of infanticide, that's far worse than some type of racial epithets or whatever it is you want to throw out there. But neither of them are good. Nobody should be dressing up in blackface. Nobody should be dressing up in the KKK outfit. Here, I saw something from from somebody on Twitter today, and they said that when the governor of Virginia apologized today, he said that he was one of the two people in the picture. He didn't specifically say if he was the one in blackface or if he was the one in the KKK outfit, but it was speculated that he was actually the one wearing the hood, because if he was in the blackface, he would have apologized specifically for wearing that makeup. Yeah, not cool. All right, hey, we got some excellent longtime fans of Red Pill 78 in the chat tonight. Sweet Pea, Mommy the Patriot, Modus Operandi's in there. Modus Operandi, I hope that you enjoy tonight's live stream. I'm doing this one for you, buddy. Like, I'm trying extra hard. So you guys, I just want to let you know that I have what I'm gonna try to do is write down all the super chats and the questions as they come through, because if I'm in a story, I've heard a lot of people say that they want to hear me finish the story and then thank the audience. So hey, Lev, LJ's here too. Cisco Lady Liberty, my friend from Twitter, is also here. So that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep track of everything, and then Craig Mason's here too. That's right, Craig. I'm glad you're here, my friend. I'm going to keep track. I'm going to thank people in between the stories, in between the breaks. That way we can, just run through the whole thing. We don't have to have, something breaking it up. But so right here, I have Remorseful CEO's Twitter, my friend Wes. Wes, if you can hear me, sir, I want you to turn off the mute. Wes, can you hear me?
I'm in now.
Okay. How are you, dude?
Sorry for that.
Okay. I want to make sure we don't have any echo. We shouldn't, because I don't have Anything playing on my end. Okay, good. So it sounds good. Wes, can you introduce yourself, and then I want the audience to let us know that they can hear you just fine.
Sure, yeah. My name's Wes Climbers. Just want to say hello to all you Patriots out there, and thanks to Red Pill for having me on.
It's not a problem, my friend. Can everybody hear Wes in the chat? Of course, we have a delay. Okay, somebody says it sounds good. Great. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So, Wes, we met on Twitter because you had sent me a link over to your comic book, and I checked it out, and it's super sweet. I love the art. I love the story. Why don't you give us a little background on the comic and tell us the plot, all the major beats, and then let's talk about how you got into this stuff.
Sure. So the comic book sort of was something that I did since I was 9 years old. Kind of just always was sort of into creating my own thing, and then especially now that you see everything that Hollywood's putting out there, just trying to offer up an alternative voice, something that's uncompromised, that doesn't feed you with its agenda, and just kind of let it be what it is. And it's sort of like, how we always joke around that the left can't meme. Well, I believe they can't entertainment either, So this is just part of offering people an alternative to Hollywood. And as far as the book is concerned, it's inspired by, mainly by the Q movement and all the anonymous people that divulge information so that we can understand what's going on underneath everything that's sold to us by, the mainstream media. So that's the primary inspiration. I kind of zone in on like one particular whistleblower who happens to be this adware developer who kind of rises to the top of the pyramid, so to speak. He doesn't like what he sees when he reaches the top, and it's very much grounded in reality, the reality we know. But he's faced with a choice, and his choice is to either whistleblow everything going on around him or continue to live a life of luxury while humanity suffers. So when he makes that choice, it sends a shockwave effect through the rest of the world, and you get to witness the reactions of multiple people, several different characters from all walks of life that play a significant role in the future. And it leads up to something really big, but I don't want to get into anything more than that right now.
Right. So
I might have said too much already.
Well, no, I think you've said just enough. So you've actually written and produced the first issue, but this is an ongoing series, or you have an idea for like a limited number of issues?
Right, so yeah, it's an ongoing series. These are larger comics than you'd buy at the store, so we're going to release them quarterly every 3 months, and basically, yeah, it can go on forever. I mean, I have like the first 8 issues figured out, and it can go on forever. So, I
Awesome.
mean, yeah, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. I got the team that I have are from like overseas because I couldn't get any artists from the States to work with me on this because like the material's not well received in the art community. So
Right.
so basically I've contracted freelance artists to do the art for me, but they're great, and they're signed on for as long as I need them, but I'm hoping I can keep them for 4 issues. So that's the plan.
So if there's anybody in the audience who appreciates art, comic books, I grew up on comic books myself. That's why this appealed to me immediately. I urge you to go visit Wes's Indiegogo page. What is that? It's Indiegogo.com. And it's a big long thing. So I'm actually going to throw this link into the chat right now. So
Flake is terrible. So if you want, you can go to deathvalleypress.com, and it's actually you can click on the Indiegogo logo on the front page there if that's easier.
It sounds like it's easier, Death Valley Press. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing about that site.
Wes, we have a question from Jackie Bain in the audience. Wants to know, is this okay for younger boys? Is it PG-13 or is it more R-rated?
It's not R-rated. The preview is the worst that you'll probably see, and it's a little bit. It's not what it looks like, I can tell you that. But it is what it looks like, but it's not.
Okay.
But I do. As far as like swearing and stuff like that, that's all edited out. But I would say like 13 plus probably. But depending on the maturity of your kid, there's nothing ambiguously. I don't know. It has mature themes, but it's never going to cross a certain line because I have kids of my own.
Okay.
And but the thing of this comic is it sort of reflects society, and I didn't want to dumb it down too much. So if you're an adult, you're really going to understand what I'm saying. If you're a kid, some of it's going to go over your head, and you can still enjoy it. You know what I mean?
All right, I think that's fair. So Jackie sent that question in a super chat, so I should say thank you for the super chat, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah. so it sounds like it's probably around PG-13, but mature themes. It's a graphic novel, am I right? Would you consider it a graphic novel? It's not just like Spider-Man or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. Like this book is made for patriots, or if you have somebody that's on the fence about leaving the normie lifestyle, and this might be a good tool to kind of show people, because there's a lot of reality in it, and I think you can get a lot of truth from it.
All right, excellent. All right, so I had mentioned that Wes is also a puppeteer. You want to tell us about the puppet videos?
Yeah, so one thing I did when I started this is because the first thing you hear a lot of times is, it's just a comic, so really who cares, Or, people can easily brush you off, but a comic is also where you get most of your television shows, your movies, that sort of thing. But I also wanted to show people that a show of products that shows that I'm serious about, I guess, replacing Hollywood entertainment in their lives. So I have a show of a video game there, and and I have this puppet who's basically a stand-up comedian, but he's woke, So the context, you see this, the puppeteer, the stand-up comedy, you see it all the time, but this context is completely different, and I think, patriots for sure are really going to appreciate this. I only have one pilot episode, and then that promotional video that you're going to show shortly. But that's also probably going to end up being something I have to take on to Indiegogo. But I have to do one step at a time because I'm kind of flying solo right now. And Goodland is really the cornerstone that's going to build up everything else that you see on deathvalleypress.com. So all my eggs are in this basket right now, but I'm showing people that I'm serious about giving them other stuff, and hopefully people are going to come along for the ride. And if there's anybody out there that has creative abilities, any talents that they want to offer, please contact me.
All right.
Twitter's probably the best way.
Yeah, and that's
at Remorseful CEO.
Good.
But yeah.
All right, sweet. Well, let's check out this pilot episode of the Puppet Show, because I think it's really funny. So let's check it out.
All right. Man, that was pretty good. That was alright. What the? Where's my car?
Yo, we got beef, homie.
What? Oh, no thanks, guys. I'm not hungry. Which is weird, because
This Illuminati shit ends right now.
Wait, aren't you...
It doesn't matter who we are. You're dead now.
Hold on. Let's settle this the old-fashioned way.
What?
Rap battle!
Hey Dan, my wife says, I think this white dude has an identity crisis. He's all like, hi kids, my name is Ann. And let me tell you why I'm like this, how my life is, how I'm trying to stay relevant. Can't sleep cause I'm afraid of an elephant and the red wave. And anyone who's not a system slave, yeah, the system can't escape from LA.
Straight question.
Honey, does this hooded sweatshirt make me look fat? Or a malnourished homeless man's version of a hip-hop fan? Yeah, I cleaned out my closet, see? I found this receipt, direct deposit, G. Oh crap, it's from the Skull and Bones. I should probably burn this and bleach my camera phone. Original pictures, this is intense. Hashtag QAnon, I think I peed my pants. Who's that in the marijuana fog? This dude couldn't read his way out of a blog. A carcass straight out of Army of Darkness. A crusty old man known as the artist, formerly known as Snoop Dogg, reportedly. Too low energy for a disorderly. Incoherent words could be muster. This dude alive is what we call a ghostbuster. Is it my imagination? Or is a ghost from the past acting out assassinations? From the Democrat plantation. No critical thought, just self-gratification. Exposed plots with anonymous sources. That all you got while they're digging up the corpses? Excuse me, ma'am. You gotta take a look at this Instagram. It's the one and only J to the Z. Aside from the fact he's untalented and lazy, he just may be the best proof we have of the end times besides a red cat. I think he's desperate. Dances with Marina, gets his spirit molested. A despot or pedested. Do without will and get your dumb ass arrested.
I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's really cool, dude. So you're obviously a very multi-talented individual. Here, you got anything else that you want to tell us before I get to the news? I got to let my dog in the room.
Yeah, just everybody, if you want to come visit me on my Twitter feed, I'm giving out free copies of this book just as a thank you to all you guys. Just give it a shot. Even if you're not into comics, stop by. This is the beginning of something maybe special, so you can all be a part of it.
Awesome. I like those words. Okay, so remember, it is at Remorseful CEO on Twitter. Wes, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for being a part of the show. I hope you're going to stay tuned in because we've got a lot of news to get into for tonight.
Oh, yeah, this was a big day.
All right. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks a lot.
Yep, we'll see you.
Yep.
All right. Okay, guys. I hope that you enjoyed Wes and Death Valley Press and Goodland. Please do go check out his website, deathvalleypress.com. Then I hope that you can go check out his Twitter and go get a free download of his book because it is pretty cool. The art is great. The story is great. It's all fun. All right, so we've got a lot of stuff to get into tonight. It was almost too much to do. So like I said, I've got that live stream that we're going to be doing with Space Shot and the folks from Patriot News at 11 o'clock tonight. So we've got a set of things here that I want to talk about. And then, of course, we've always got tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for my Saturday Night Live broadcast. One second, guys. I just need to close out of Discord because that's going to be using system resources. All right, there we are. So, yeah, lots of different things happening. First of all, from my friend Methods on Twitter, I wanted to show this. This is something he had shown me from the boards. Incredible Anon theory on MS-13, caravans, Planned Parenthood, Dem funding. It's all connected. Now, you know what, guys? Before I do this, if everybody would be so kind as to share this broadcast on your favorite social media platform. Also, if you have not yet, would you please like the video? Because that will help YouTube push it out to more people on the YouTube recommended live page. I would really appreciate that. So right here, the theory. MS-13 works with Dems and the deep state to traffic women. I think that we already know this. A huge number of them get raped and impregnated, sadly. Now, BC, birth control, doesn't stop all the fertilizations. The caravan, the inflow, shows up full of women and girls who are or will soon get pregnant. Some of the babies get aborted. Some of the babies get to live. There's an influx of pregnant women, girls funneled out into the sanctuary cities, even to NYC. And where there is free health care for all, because this is what the Democrats want, and abortion is part of that health care. Planned Parenthood makes a killing off of abortions, birth control, sonograms, etc., all at the taxpayer expense, not to mention the disgusting sale of baby body parts. Late-term abortions, partial birth, and now post-birth abortions ensure that you can incubate for a few months before arriving and getting the abortion. Dems in the deep state get the taxpayer money through Planned Parenthood. It's a cyclical nature to this business. They are feeding into the system and they are breeding into the system and then taking the money that comes out of it. And I do want to say thank you to D. Clue Girl. She said, sorry I was late, but saw the video. It was very funny. All right. So now this is another great little nugget from Methods. When asked about if he expects to declare a national emergency, Donald J. Trump said, you'll hear the State of the Union, and then you'll see what happens right after the. Let's listen to Donald speak. Of course, I'm going to have to refresh the screen.
Expect to declare a national. I don't. But are you saying now you expect to declare a national?
I don't want to say, but you'll hear the State of the Union, and then you'll see what happens right after the State of the Union, okay?
He knows what he's doing. He's got big things that we're going to talk about at the State of the Union. And then right after the State of the Union, he's going to be declaring the national emergency. So there was also some crazy stuff happening. First, where is that? Oh, shucks. Well, I guess I'm just going to talk about it. So there were some pictures going around today that showed, and Maru, happy here, Venezuelan for MAGA listening. Great. Happy to be here tonight. I'm glad that you were here from Venezuela, my friend. Freedom to Venezuela. There was some pictures going around today, guys, showing a hearse in Washington. Supposedly it was, coming from the Ruth Bader Ginsburg estate, but some clever-eyed Anons noted that there was a presidential seal on the side. And then, actually, Bree from Space Shot, one of his mods, she had sent over to Mike that the actual picture itself was from the George H.W. Bush funeral. So it was not for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, as much as we all wanted it to happen. And then, of course, the mainstream media pounced, and they were quick to say that conspiracy theorists and, MAGA people were spreading this lie that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was dead. Well, something tells me that perhaps there was a secret plan that they were carrying out. Perhaps they leaked that information, trying to get people to believe it, and they wanted to hook us. And they know that, of course, we all want that to be true, so of course we're all over it. Now, this is for anybody who didn't see my video from yesterday. Cynthia Pampas, thank you very much for the super chat. My friend the Sharp Edge from Twitter. This ties into the video that I made last night. Pelosi said, "You will not win." You didn't think the largest military spending bill in history, fiscal year 2019, wasn't going to indirectly include funding for the wall, did you? Learn the Constitution regarding vested powers of POTUS regarding matters of national security, planned and forecasted from the beginning. This is from our favorite Anon on their own board. And we can see here, I included this image in my video last night. This is taken from the border, and you've got the Army Corps of Engineers, Red Castle, right there, building the wall. They are here helping out, and they have been building the wall. Silver Umbrella, thank you very much for the super chat. The thing is that this whole conversation that we're having, it's not for us, you guys. The wall is being built. We already have won. Donald Trump is doing what he wants to do according to the powers afforded him in the Constitution, because that's his right as the president, as the duly elected leader of the United States of America. He will, Supreme Court Anon posted on 8chan. You know what? Real life intuition, I saw that, and I don't know that that's true or not. I think it was a great post. I definitely did a video on it. but I don't know that it's true. You know, a lot of the stuff that we talk about, guys, is, you know, just, you know, speculation. We can't say for certain exactly what's happened unless we get, you know, hardcore information. Like, I can tell you the wall is being built because the Army Corps of Engineers is standing here at the border with a hard hat and a yellow vest, nonetheless. And we have been told by our favorite Anon on numerous occasions that this is going to be the way it happens. Okay, it's happening. It is happening. And if anybody tells you that it's not happening, well, you know, they're just going to have to wake up on their own time. Everybody has to do it in their own way. You know, I know what it took for me, and it's something different for everybody. All right, this is the story that I really wanted to open up with. It's from the Daily Caller. Here's a DACA recipient saying that politicians who don't support Trump's wall aren't putting the American people first. That's right. Politicians who don't support the wall are not putting the American people first. They are putting human traffickers first. They are putting drug dealers first. They are putting international criminal cartels first, not the American people. They don't care about the American people, and that's why we need to work to get these people removed. It's going to happen too. So here we are. This is DACA recipient Hilario Yanez. He told the Daily Caller that not only is he a Trump supporter, but that he also supports the idea of building a border wall. Yanez said he's not happy with the way Democrats are handling border wall negotiations. He says it shows Democratic politicians aren't serious about helping dreamers. This is a dreamer who's saying this. Now, these dreamers, depending on who they are, you know, they've been here pretty much their whole lives. So they're essentially American citizens. If these people are law-abiding citizens, all right, if they are law-abiding individuals, then, you know what, I don't really care. I don't really care if they want to live here so bad, you know, like, let's give them the ability to do that. But we have to do it legally. We can't just say, bam, you're all citizens, all right? You're going to be here. You're going to pay taxes. You're going to contribute. You're not going to break the law. You are not going to, you know, to run over people. Like, I just saw a story today about this poor girl who was run over by an illegal alien. You know, those are the kinds of people I don't want here. All right. He says, if you're anti-wall and anti-Trump, then honestly, we don't need you at the negotiating table, because ultimately what you're saying is you're not for the American people. Wow. Okay. You have American citizens who can't even say that. They can't bring themselves to admit that a wall is good for America, or that something that's good for America is good for themselves. All right? Like, they have some type of complex, like, oh, I can't be who I am. I can't be an American. I can't be whatever my race is. I have to hate myself, and I have to have a... Okay. So the views and opinions expressed right here are not from the Daily Caller. This is information about it, but we're going to listen to this young man's testimony here, okay?
If you're anti-wall and you're anti-Trump, then, you know, honestly, we just don't need you at the negotiation table, because you're ultimately what you're saying is you're not for the American people.
Joining me now is Hilario Yanez. He is a pro-Trump dreamer, which is something we don't hear a lot. A lot of the DACA recipients usually tend to support Democrats. We hear a lot of them, you know, say that they're not big supporters of Trump. So thank you so much for being here, and we'd love to hear more about why you support Trump's wall.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on the show today. Again, you know, my name is Hilario Yanez. I consider myself a fearless conservative dreamer. And the reason why is because, you know, I came here to the United States when I was a year old. I grew up without a father. I grew up homeless in a rough neighborhood. But despite the circumstances that I was given, you know, God gave me, you know, some conservative values and really at the end of the day has made me who I am, which is, you know, God first, family, working hard, standing on your own 2 feet. And here I am, you know, first generation college student, working for a Fortune 500 company. And for me, I make my decisions and I support people that, you know, are based on what I believe and what my values are.
What?
Give this young man a green card. All right. I'm perfectly comfortable with this kid staying here in America and becoming a citizen. Okay? He said it. He grew up with conservative values because he had parents who cared about him. They might not have came here the right way, but they did it. Sorry I'm a little out of breath. I just had to let the dogs outside. Whew. All right. So yeah, this kid, I am perfectly fine with him being here. Now, next. Oh, this is the big one. This is the big one from Big League Politics. Yearbook. Ralph Northman in blackface and KKK photo. Oh my God, this guy. This is the guy who was stumping for infanticide yesterday. Yeah, I love Muffin too, Dana. She's a great dog. We got Muffin. We got Chi-Chi. No, illegal is illegal. I'm not saying that it's not illegal. I'm saying that, if someone wants to stay here, then we have to vet them. We vet them and we give them the opportunity to become a citizen. I'm not saying give amnesty at all. I just want to put that out there. No amnesty. No amnesty. And we need to make sure that we know who is attempting to apply for citizenship. But, you got people who are already here. They're already contributing. All right, let's just make it happen. It's going to happen. I'm sure that President Trump is going to do that. All right. And I will make a donation of 400 likes. Yes, please. How many likes do we have in the on the video, guys? Can someone give me a count? I'd really appreciate it. All right. So Virginia Democrat Governor Ralph Northman posed for a blackface photograph, just like the good Southern Democrat that he is. Big League Politics has obtained photos from Northman's time at the Eastern Virginia Medical School, from which he graduated in 1984. Oh my God, you guys, this isn't even from high school. He can't even... This is when he was firmly an adult, okay? I think every steel slat should be engraved from top to bottom with Trump. I think that's a great idea. What if they had a program where... this would be great. They have a program. It's like, you buy a brick, but you could buy your name written on the wall. Like we can pay for our own steel slat, and then we know that that we really, really helped out, more than what we're doing right now. We're all doing a lot, you guys. The fact that we are here right now, congregating together, and we are, confident enough, and we know that we're safe enough to go ahead and do this now. This wasn't possible, not quite some time ago, but just a little bit of time ago. I used to be afraid to talk about this stuff openly. There was so much vitriol. I remember right after the election, God, I almost didn't dare go on Twitter, because it was like every time you'd step out on Twitter, you would just get slapped down by a whole bunch of SJW virtue signalers. But I don't even care anymore. I am proud to say that I support the president and that I support his agenda, and that I'm proud to be an American. Buy a slat. That's right. So Northman and a friend were photographed together, one in blackface, one in Klan robes. Northman's quote, "There are more old drunks than old doctors in this world, so I think I'll have another beer." Wow. He likes beer. He likes beer, guys. This is the picture. God, I hope that these watermarks are enough to stop YouTube from deleting this video. But again, we don't know which one is which one's Northman and which one's his friend. I tend to think that this one is Northman. He's a little bit shorter. If we can just figure out how tall his friend is, then we can figure it out conclusively. Yeah, you guys, I got this MAGA hat that I want so bad. I'm about to order it, but I'm just waiting until I get my next paycheck. But it's almost like it's black, and it's got gold olive leaf on it, like Caesar. I love it. Okay, so there is the picture. God, look at that. All right, so Michael Buczynski, thank you all, and God bless for all the work for truth and safeguard life of the weakest. That's right. Okay, if you're not willing to step out to protect the unborn babies of this world, all right, then what kind of a monster are you? I saw a video on YouTube today, or maybe it was on Twitter, where a doctor who had been forced to perform abortions. You guys realize that when a doctor, performs, medical procedures, or they're in medical school, or they're doing their what is it called? Their internship or whatever. They are forced to do these things. Otherwise, they're basically told that, they make their lives hell. And they also tell them that it's not the way that it is. But this doctor fully described the actions that happen when you're essentially like tearing the baby out of the womb. It was disgusting. It was horrible. I felt sick just watching it. This is another thing that I want to talk about that's happening. It's happening all over the country. The investigations that have been performed into voter fraud are bearing fruit. All across the country, they are finding thousands, tens of thousands of votes that were cast by illegal aliens. Not only that, but the state of Arizona Republican Party has accused the government official of coordinating with Democrats to secure the votes. This is huge. Republicans in Arizona were suspicious after elections that seemed won by the GOP on election night slowly shifted to Democrat victories in the days after the election. Now it appears that an internal election audit commissioned by the Arizona Republican Party released Thursday may offer some answers on what happened in the state's closest election in recent memory. The 228-page memo details several aspects and concerning practices employed by County Recorder Adrian Fontes, a Democrat. Fontes has already earned a reputation for controversy among election integrity advocates in Arizona for a series of incidents, including telling a candidate for the state legislature to go F yourself on Facebook. What a class act. What a class act. The audit, announced shortly after the election, was overseen by Stephen Richer, a Phoenix area attorney with considerable experience in auditing major public and private organizations. The audit references reports accusing Fontes of privately coordinating the location of emergency voting centers with Democratic candidate Kyrsten Sinema, who went on to win the state's U.S. Senate election. And might I add, she showed up wearing stripper boots. She showed up wearing stripper boots the other day, like to her job in Washington, D.C. I couldn't believe it. She was wearing this mini skirt and these like thigh-high boots. It was like Michelle Obama all over again. Now, allegedly, staffers with the Sinema campaign were well aware of the location of said voting centers before the general public, which are reserved for the use of voters who are unable to cast an early ballot because of a supposed emergency. The campaign of Republican Martha McSally was left in the dark on the matter, while Sinema campaign staffers worked with local Democratic voters to guide them to an emergency voting center. The audit describes the Sinema campaign as even going so far as to perform literature drops in neighborhoods surrounding emergency voting centers. All 5 emergency voting centers opened by the county recorder's office were placed in Democratic trending areas by voting registration, despite Maricopa County having more registered Republicans by population. That's how you know. That's how you know conclusively that there was voter fraud going on. Maricopa County is red as all get out, okay? But they elected Kyrsten Sinema? No, that didn't happen. So perhaps most concerning is the sworn affidavit documented in the audit, in which an Arizona voter describes seeing ballots pre-marked for Sinema and Democratic candidate Greg Stanton on Election Day. They had votes already cast, okay? All they had to do was put some dead people's names on them, throw them into the ballot box, and there you go. Can the people of Arizona trust the partisan Democrat with a known tendency of discrepancies to oversee elections? I think we know the answer to that question. Now, in some additional evidence for my assertion that voter fraud has been proven across the country, all right, there was also something like 95,000 votes in the state of Texas, all right, 95,000 votes. Now, we're going to go to the East Coast, and we're going to see that Pennsylvania finds 11,000 non-citizens registered to vote. In a week of revelations, Pennsylvania has joined a growing list of states that have thousands of non-citizens registered to vote. Pennsylvania lawmaker Daryl Metcalf has called on the Democrat administration to purge 11,198 non-citizens who are registered to vote in elections. Now, I should say that one of my top-notch researchers, my friend Jackie, she sent me this article. She also sent me a ton more stuff that we're going to be going over tomorrow, exposing corruption globally. Yesterday, Metcalf blasted the administration of Governor Tom Wolf for belatedly acknowledging the large number of non-citizen voters in communications over the past 2 months. I believe that we need to take action and have those people removed immediately from the rolls, Mr. Metcalf told the Washington Times. They were never eligible to vote. A few days earlier, officials in Texas, here we go, announced they had found nearly 100,000 non-citizens on the state's voter rolls, and somewhere around 58,000 had been voting in previous elections. Now, you've got over 100,000, or almost 100,000 in Texas. How many voters that are illegals do you think are in California, guys? Just imagine. Remember all those Republican races in California? What was it, in Orange County? And all of a sudden, they're Democrat. How many do you think are there? The numbers, although not giant, help prove the claims that President Trump and others have argued in the past. We're going to say that again. Help prove the claims that President Trump and others have argued in the past. What was it that Obama said? That voter fraud doesn't exist? There's no such thing as voter fraud? BS. BS. Hey, redeemed by Christ, my friend. Critics claim that there is no such massive illegal voters out there, but there is just one of a growing list of states that have illegal voters registered on the rolls. Some of those Trump opponents don't believe the latest numbers, particularly in Texas, where Hispanic activists sued to stop a potential purge of the non-citizen names that the state identified. It's clear that the right-wing elements in Texas government are trying to rig the system to keep power and disenfranchise 95,000 American citizens. Lies, said Domingo Garcia, national president of the League of United Latin American Citizens. There is no voter fraud in Texas. Hey, Roy Davis. I see Roy Davis in there. Michael Buchensky says, thank you all for getting this over 500 likes. I am at my max for donations right now, but feel free to add this to the work, and blessings. Thank you so much, Michael. I really do appreciate you helping out, buddy. And I just want to say that to everybody who has donated tonight, hopefully I didn't miss anybody's name. I am going to go back through after this video is done and just make sure. But to everybody who's donated, it means so much. I work real hard at putting these videos together. I have like a full-time job that I work at, about 8 to 10 hours every day. And then, the only thing that I'm doing is making these videos and getting them out to you. Besides taking care of my family and my house and my dogs and all that stuff, all the normal stuff. But coming here and hanging out with you guys is the highlight of my day. I look forward to this all weekend, you guys. And to look here and see the same names going by all the time and know that you guys want to hang out with me too, it's a really good feeling. I also want to remind everybody that I do have a Twitter account. It's at RedPill78. If anybody wants to follow me there, you can. At the end of this video, all of these links will be in the comment section or in the description section of the video below. So this guy, Domingo, is saying that there is no voter fraud in Texas. It's a lie repeated time and again to suppress minority voters, and we're going to fight hard against it. Sorry, Domingo. You're not going to win this one. Texas Secretary of State David Whitley used state driver's license records, which include immigration status, and compared those with voter rolls, and Pennsylvania followed a similar process. Many people argue that every single non-citizen who votes is like taking a citizen's ballot and flushing it down the toilet. Amen. That's exactly what it is. It completely cancels out the vote of an actual American citizen. If I go to the polls and I vote for Donald Trump, and then an illegal goes to the polls and votes for Hillary Clinton, my vote doesn't exist. All right? It completely cancels it out. Now, the state did not release the names of the illegal voters to Mr. Metcalf or Garth Everett, a Republican and chairman of the House State Government Committee, so there was no way to know how many of the 11,000 non-citizens voted in elections. Demonstrating, much less discussing, non-citizen voting activity is the worst form of heresy one can commit for left-wing groups, argued Logan Churchwell, Director of Communications and Research at the Public Interest Legal Foundation. The group is involved in lawsuits in both states trying to get to the bottom of the criminal activity. Tammy Adams says, you are awesome, Anon. I like your vids. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tammy. I do appreciate the super chat, and I thank you for showing up to watch these awesome stories with me. Now, and Liz Tarek, thank you for all you do. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for saying that. It definitely means a lot to me. We are the media now, guys. The media has failed us, all right? The news is not the news. It's propaganda, all right? So we have to fight against that, and that is why I do this. Now, it goes on to say that no state requires proof of citizenship to register to vote. A U.S. District Court judge last year struck down a law championed by then Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach to require citizenship documentation. Why not? Okay, that seems like the smartest and easiest idea I've ever heard. Kansas took the ruling to the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The Washington Times reported Texas, however, will take some verification steps in the future. The Secretary of State each month will compare newly registered voters with federal immigration records at the Department of Homeland Security. This carries the benefit of being a report plus a reform, Mr. Churchwell said. This wasn't a one-off research project. Texas will be actively screening for existing potential non-citizen registrants on a monthly basis, which is something we've long pushed for. A coalition of 13 liberal groups, including the American Civil Liberties Union, has challenged Mr. Whitley's methodology and called his findings suspect. They say that since driver's licenses are issued every 6 years in Texas, the person could have become a citizen after the immigration status was submitted to the Department of Public Safety. The League of United Latin American Citizens says in its lawsuit that more than 50,000 Texans are naturalized each year and that most of them vote in their very first election. To account for that, Mr. Whitley created a process for election boards to notify each of the 95,000 names and ask them to verify whether they are citizens and should remain on the rolls. In Pennsylvania, the state's Democrat-led administration has been less enthusiastic about confronting the issue. After an earlier estimate put the number of non-citizens on state voting rolls at 100,000, Mr. Metcalf made a right-to-know request under state law for voter information. He was preparing to get the information early last year when the Wolf administration objected and went to court to try to keep it secret. Why? Why would they do that? Because they want illegals to vote. Because they know that illegals are going to be voting for Democrats. Because they are fed propaganda and they are given liberties. Not the actual civil liberties, but they are given charity. All right, you come here as an illegal and you get treated better than a citizen. Stefan says, if you haven't read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, please do. I read The Art of War by Sun Tzu when I was much younger, but I would love to read it again. And Zach N says, thank you, brother. Space Shot 76, live, 8 p.m. Space Shot 76. Then Thor says, if we had fair elections, we would win 90% of them. That's right. Because all you have to do to win an election is just show that you actually care about the people you're representing, okay? We are so used to having people who do not give a crap about us, that only care about their own personal interests. Diana Davenport says, thanks, RP. Thank you so much, Diana. Perhaps we can have you on some time to talk about your chosen profession. You guys, I think that it would be awesome for everybody in the chat to be able to participate even more. Andrew Samuel says, enjoy the new hat. Thanks, buddy. I will go buy The Art of War by Sun Tzu, that's for sure. Oh my God, my MAGA hat. Oh, you're the best. I'm totally buying it. I'm totally buying it now. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And I will definitely post a picture of it. In Pennsylvania, the state's Democrat-led administration has been less than enthusiastic. Oh yeah, we said this. They want to keep it secret. The state Commonwealth Court and appellate panel scheduled a hearing for last month after the November elections. Just a week before the court hearing, the Wolf administration withdrew its appeal and announced it would turn over the information. Mr. Metcalf said the timing was suspicious. This governor has been an obstructionist in revealing this information to the citizens and thereby, I believe, a participant in allowing the fraudulent activity to occur because of the benefits to him and his party. I think that sounds rather logical there. This debate about the number of illegal voters in the country is riddled with confusion. The left argues, and they are typically benefited by illegal voters, that there is no problem. Those on the right suggest that millions of illegals are voting. I would concur. especially in places like California, bam, and skewing the congressional electorate. The fact remains that there definitely is a problem. What happened this week in Pennsylvania and Texas, not to mention motor voter in California, North Carolina, and other states, proves it. That's right. Voter fraud is rampant in the United States because the Democrats have created this culture which have allowed it. Okay, and they don't play fair. All right, us as Republicans, we are far more likely to be honest, to have integrity. I wouldn't think about setting up an extra voting polling station so that people could come and vote so that we could steal the election. Like, that just wouldn't even occur to me. But that's the kind of stuff that comes easy to Democrats. This is why I am so honored and grateful to be able to count myself among the conservative majority in the United States. All right, you guys, this is a very interesting article from the American Thinker. It really shows some astounding things that I think we all really know at our hearts is going on. So it's called The Ruling Class in an Undeclared War. It's from the American Thinker, and this is also from my friend Jackie. Over the past 73 years, devoid of any meaningful national misfortune, the American social order has undergone a major transformation. Historically, societies tend to stratify themselves along economic or preordained class lines. The United States has long prided itself on the belief that class distinctions were no longer a part of a unique American culture. However, the current social structure has evolved into a near impregnable three-tier categorization in which the ruling class that sits astride the social order has revealed, thanks to the election of Donald Trump, open and unabashed disdain for the two lower classes and the unleashing of a radicalized army of malcontents. The citizens who provide the primary labor and resources for the economic engine of the country constitute the second tier. The third is comprised of those who have been betrayed by a self-serving education system and are conditioned to be totally dependent upon a government dominated by the ruling class. This is what the Democrats want. Unlike any other period in the nation's history, one stratum of society, the American elites of the past half century, by their control of education, entertainment, the media, and politics, have totally dominated and overwhelmingly and negatively influenced the culture and national character. They are chiefly responsible for what it is today. This American aristocracy is now entirely made up of those who have no recall of firsthand experience of the years of adversity prior to 1940. Their entire point of reference is never-ending affluence and the pursuit of pleasure with an overall framework of world peace. Yet this assemblage is dominated by a comparatively few committed ideologues and so-called intellectuals who are dedicated to permanently altering the economy and the American culture. Nonetheless, they have been very successful in attracting many others by appealing to their vanity and their avarice. Thus, entrance into this class is not entirely a factor of birth or wealth, but rather that of developing a mindset of superiority similar to the evolution of cliques within a high school setting. This attitude is further reinforced and promoted in the incubator that is the college campus, wherein this mindset is further enhanced by the academic elites waxing eloquent about the failings of the United States and the ideal of a classless society, led, of course, by the preeminent class themselves and their naive recruits. Once, having left the bubble that is the university environment, the majority of these same recruits, still influenced by their university experience and desirous of maintaining a standing within the circle, look to the anointed leaders in the mainstream media, the entertainment industry, and politics to set the agenda and dialogue. I lost my place. Further, by being an accepted member of this class, it is far easier to be ushered by the gatekeepers onto the path of making a substantial living, be it in government, academia, Wall Street, the media, or a myriad of non-profit advocacy groups. To achieve and retain these benefits, it becomes paramount to retain membership within this congregation and do their bidding, rather than question what the pronouncements and policies of their titular leaders would do to the culture and well-being of the country at large. Thus, while proclaiming to be independent thinkers, no faction in American society is more acquiescent to groupthink and conformity. The reality is that the majority of those in the ruling class are mind-numbed eternal adolescents, hell-bent on pushing the boundaries of ethical and moral behavior and viewing all political and policy issues as a war between their side and their moral enemies. Those who oppose the transformation of the nation into a socialist oligarchy, concomitant, I can't even read that, concomitant erosion of liberty as well as unrestrained personal behavior. While there are a few comparatively independent thinkers within the group that do question the overreaching of a powerful central government, their opposition is muted and limited to a more gradualist approach as their concession to remain within the fold. An all-powerful central government is vital to maintaining the elite's power, income base, and preeminent class status, and must be protected at all cost. In order to retain this supremacy, the tactics of outright lies, innuendos, and character assassinations, as well as exploitation of national tragedies to impugn their adversaries, have been utilized by the foot soldiers in the mainstream media, the political establishment, and the entertainment industry. The 8 years of the Obama administration rudely awakened a sleeping populace, many of whom also benefiting from the overwhelming economic growth and absence of national adversity over the past half-century, have consciously chosen to ignore what was happening to the culture and future well-being of the country. Thus, the election of Donald Trump was in essence the revenge of the lower classes, not only the overbearing and condescending attitude of the elites, but their ongoing success in transforming American society and culture. Faced with the exposure of their agenda and the real prospect of losing their status and influence, the disdain toward the lower classes, which had always bubbled beneath the surface, burst forth in a volcanic eruption of uncontrolled vitriol, anger, and absurdity. The denizens of the ruling class unleashed their out-of-control foot soldiers on the citizenry, employing the tactics and weapons previously aimed at their political enemies. Today, vast swaths of the American populace, whether they voted for Trump or not, are indiscriminately accused of being racists, misogynists, white supremacists, ignoramuses, religious zealots, xenophobes, and malcontents. Intimidation and threats of violence are no longer condemned so long as it is directed at those identified as a threat to the hegemony of the elites. Various social media platforms are being hijacked and weaponized by the mindless and radicalized, brain-dead army of elite wannabes. The ruling class chooses not to restrain in order to terrorize and permanently cower those in the second tier of society, the citizens who provide the primary labor and resources for the economic engine of the country. There is at present an undeclared and nonviolent civil war being waged in this country. The underlying factor of any civil war is an elite ruling class desperate to maintain power at odds with a majority of a population seeking change. Also prevalent in most civil upheavals is the unleashing by those determined to retain power of the radicalized and ultimately uncontrollable dogs of war, who more often than not devour their sponsors. Both elements are currently in play. While the ruling class publicly obsesses over Donald Trump and denigrates the vast majority of the population, they have planted the seeds by their actions for a takeover of the country by a radical element that will turn on them as they are presently doing with the Democratic Party. The American people must understand that the current ruling class will not willingly exit the stage or take on their mercenary army. Donald Trump, while perhaps accomplishing a significant degree of change, cannot induce their demise. This threat can only be marginalized through the determined utilization of political process, which will encompass a number of political cycles and the long-term willingness to not be intimidated or cowed into submission. The future of the nation, as founded, is at stake. All right, so the only thing they missed is us Anons. We are fighting right now. Q has brought us together, and we will not go silently into the night. This country may be in the midst of a silent civil war, a cold civil war, if you will. But we are winning, all right? With the help of Donald Trump, with the help of the plan, we are in the midst of taking these people and showing them what's really going on. You've got people waking up every day, all right? And people are understanding this. People know that we now have this, ultra segregated society that's based on class and wealth. The only people getting rich are the people at the top. People cannot buy the same things they could buy. I'm making less money than I was 15 years ago, okay? That is not something that people can continue to do for forever, all right? We may live simple lives and therefore we are happy. We can be content with less money. We don't need money to make us happy. But people do not want to feel like they are being used. They do not want to be put down. And somebody just reminded me that we've got some Q drops to go over too. I forgot about that. All right. Oh, here it is. This was the fake RBG hearse. All right. I wanted to show everybody. There it is. Unfortunately, RBG, we have no confirmation still on what's going on with her. But I do remember this as well. Apparently, there are Marines. This is from Vote. Marines are being put on standby for funeral detail in D.C. An ex-Army relative of mine has a friend who is a Marine officer, and he just got orders that he is on standby for a presidential/congressional funeral detail in D.C. Both of them have never heard of such a thing and are not sure what it means. Could be some retired senator has passed away, like most of us are likely thinking. Here, it could be RGB. Now, don't forget, there was that, isn't there like a senator or a representative who just entered hospice care? I can't remember his name, and I didn't have time to look for it before the broadcast tonight. Wolfhouse, deplorable low class and love and life. Exactly. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to fight. They thought we weren't going to fight. We can see through the facade. We can see the man behind the curtain now. All right? State of the Union is, I don't know about that one, Zach. I sure hope not. But I think that the idea is that they want to roll out RBG, and then by doing so, they would postpone the State of the Union. But something tells me that whether or not it happens on the 5th or, slightly thereafter, it's going to happen exactly when it needs to happen. This is the kind of time when my faith in God and my trust allows me to coast through life. I know. Oh, hey, Ben Dan, what's up, buddy? Bill. I'm building up my spiritual reserves, all right? I do not need anything other than my faith, all right? I know that everything will happen in the exact way that it is supposed to happen. Someone just said Anonymous has been taken down. Now, which Anonymous? There are so many anonymous channels on YouTube, and is it like Anonymous X or Anon Global? There's so many. Now, it's hard to know which one of those you're supposed to. Yes, it's Reagan. Steve Getz. Thank you. That's what I was talking about. It was debunked. I know that was debunked. I don't know. I don't know any of those anonymous channels. Those that could just be somebody just like me. Yeah, you have faith in your dog. I have faith in my dogs too. But you never know. Congressman Walter Jones. Thank you so much, North Carolina Congressman Walter Jones. Yep. Okay. All right. So we have to talk about this before we can talk about the Q posts. Devin Nunes. We will make criminal referrals and FBI misconduct investigation. Representative Devin Nunes said that despite losing control of the House of Representatives to Democrats, he and his Republican colleagues will continue to investigate allegations of bias and misconduct within the FBI and even make criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. Speaking to Fox News, I got to take a drink of water, guys. Speaking to Fox News' Tucker Carlson last night, Nunes said, "We're going to make several referrals." While the congressman would not name anyone specific, Carlson suggested that former FBI agent Peter Strzok and former FBI Director James Comey as possible candidates for criminal referrals. Nunes also said that he doesn't think much will get accomplished with the referrals until a new attorney general is in place. Don't forget, Senator Chuck Grassley actually made a referral on Christopher Steele, the British agent who worked for the Clinton campaign. He was referred. Nothing is happening to him, he said. Patty Patriot, thank you so much for the super chat. Now, a lot of people think just because Republicans are out of power that we are not conducting an investigation. We still are. he continued. Whether or not people will come and interview with us, we don't have gavels, we don't have subpoena power, but we will still be trying to interview people, and we will be still making criminal referrals. Nunes suggested the White House created a transparency office to determine whether or not the FISA application to spy on Trump campaign volunteer Carter Page would be made public. The government's gotten so big, you've got so many of these different agencies. There needs to be someone in the White House or the President of the United States who's the boss, who can make that decision and make it quickly. Yeah, boy. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Devin Nunes. All right, now this is really important. Well, first of all, phony Indian Elizabeth Warren calls the Cherokee Nation and apologizes after years of lies. Oh my God, this is the best story of the world. In October, Senator Warren released a DNA study where she claimed to be 1/512th, or was it 1/1024th Native American. The Boston Globe later issued a correction to their original report. The DNA test revealed Elizabeth Warren is not 1/512th Native American. She's 1/1024th. Less than 1%. Warren actually has less Indian in her bloodline than a majority of white Americans. So, but that hasn't stopped Warren from promoting this lie over the years. Elizabeth Warren lied to jump over qualified minority candidates and land a position at Harvard University. We know that Elizabeth Warren's more immediate ancestor, her great-great-great-grandpa, rounded up Cherokee Indians and herded them to the point of origin of the infamous Trail of Tears. Wow. What a slap in the face to actual Native American people. She doesn't like to share that fact. On Friday, Warren called the Cherokee Nation to apologize, but what is more insulting is that she still wants to play Indian. The Washington Post played defense for the fraud. Senator Elizabeth Warren has apologized to the Cherokee Nation after releasing DNA test results in October, indicating she had Native American ancestry, a tribe spokeswoman said Friday. The Massachusetts Democrats' apology, first reported by The Intercept, was made Thursday in a phone call to Tribe Chief Bill John Baker. Cherokee Nation spokeswoman Julie Hubbard confirmed to the Washington Post on Friday afternoon. Senator Warren has reached out to us and has apologized to the tribe, Hubbard said in a statement. We are encouraged by this dialogue and understanding that being a Cherokee Nation tribal citizen is rooted in centuries of culture and laws, not through DNA tests. We are encouraged by her actions and hope that the slurs and mockery of tribal citizens and Indian history and heritage will now come to an end. Warren is considering a run for the Democratic Party's 2020 presidential campaign. Her campaign could not be reached Thursday to confirm the apology. Is she also 1,024th Inca? All right, guys. Now, probably my favorite news of the day. Confirmed. Hillary camp set up the Trump Tower meeting between Russians and Don Jr. The Russians involved are connected to the Clintons. I'm just going to let that sink in, guys, and I'm going to hit my vape. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so not that we didn't already know this. We already knew that this was set up by the Clintons because we knew that Fusion GPS was involved. We knew that Natalia Veselnitskaya was allowed into the country on like a special access visa when she had, nothing to offer, all right? She had already been told that she couldn't be in the country. They wouldn't allow, the Justice Department wouldn't allow her in to come like represent her own client, but they allowed her in to meet with Don Jr. And I vape, Hulkinator Smash, I am puffing on Juice Man's Unicorn Frappe. It tastes like mango. God, I don't even know what to tell you what it tastes like. It's got like a really unique flavor. It's like mango and whipped cream, and it's like I don't know, man. It's like a frap. I found a great place to buy vape, you guys. Normally, like, you got to get it on sale for me to be able to afford it, but I found a place online that's literally like I can buy it at the same price that they sell it to the stores for. Like, I'm getting wholesale pricing. So I'm basically getting 2 for 1. All right, so let's listen in to this story from the Gateway Pundit. California U.S. Representative Devin Nunes shared on Fox News that Hillary Clinton's campaign team, working with Glenn Simpson and Fusion GPS, likely set up the entire Trump Tower meeting with Don Jr. and Jared Kushner as a way of entrapping the entire Trump campaign. The whole thing was a setup, but we knew that already, didn't we, Anons? Dan Bongino said on a recent podcast about the meeting at Trump Tower, the meeting's a setup. It's a setup. It's a setup. It's a scam. It's all a setup. I love Dan Bongino. Bongino lays out the entire meeting at Trump Tower was a setup. The Russians involved were all connected to Hillary Clinton. Unfortunately, they removed it. Or maybe it's my ad blocker. So, on Fox News, Nunes, who sat through hours of testimonies related to the Trump-Russia farce, said the following. But something also probably important to note about the so-called Trump Tower meeting, this is the meeting that actually Fusion GPS met with the people before and after that meeting. Fusion GPS, once again, was a Clinton campaign paid-for operations outfit. They were clearly involved in the setup of the Trump Tower meeting. So if they want to bring Cohen in and talk to him, that's great. We'll participate. But the truth is, if you really want to get to the truth behind the Trump Tower meeting, Fusion GPS and the Clinton campaign are all over it and probably behind it. The group that organized the meeting with Trump advisors and the Russian lawyers was the same Democratic group, Fusion GPS, that was behind the discredited Trump dossier. God, CNN was practically jumping for joy over this story, but the whole thing is fake. The 8 people who attended the Trump Tower meeting on June 9th, 2016 were Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort, Natalia Veselnitskaya with Fusion GPS, Anatoly Samchornov, the translator in Fusion GPS, Renat Akhmetshin, lobbyist for Fusion GPS, Rob Goldstone, and the rep of the Agalarov family. The lawyer who met with the Trump team in June 2016 was denied a U.S. visa to enter. However, she received a special permission to enter the United States after filing an affidavit in a federal case in New York. Now, we know the following to date about the characters involved in setting up the Trump team at Trump Tower. Congressional testimony confirms that consultant Glenn Simpson, founder of Fusion GPS, was hired by Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee to work his political opposition magic against President Trump. Simpson has testified he put former MI6 agent Christopher Steele on the job and sent him to Russia. Simpson and Steele both kept a constant back channel to Bruce Orr, the 4th highest ranking member of the Department of Justice, as recently declassified messages prove. We also know that Orr, whose wife Nellie Orr worked for Fusion GPS right alongside Simpson, coordinated before, during, and after the election with both Christopher Steele and Glenn Simpson. Also, Hillary Clinton wasn't Simpson's only employer. The night before the Trump Tower meeting, Simpson had dinner with another client, Natalia Veselnitskaya. He had dinner with her again the night after the meeting, he told Congress. Veselnitskaya was at the Trump Tower meeting and is suspected of working for Simpson, now confirmed. The entire Trump Tower meeting was entirely set up by the Clintons, as now we know all the characters involved are connected to the Clintons. When Americans shouted "lock her up" at Trump rallies, they knew she was a crook. Now, I just want to get back again to the plan, the way that this is all going. All right, you can't just do an info dump on an entire population of people who are asleep. All right, they're not going to hear it. It's going to fall on deaf ears. The way that this has been happening, slowly getting seeded into the consciousness, all right? You are waking people up. All of these things are waking people up slowly over time, all right? They are realizing that they have been taken advantage of, that they've been played for fools, that the Democratic Party and the DNC and the elite on the left, they think everyone is stupid. They think that they are less than they are, that they are smart enough to run the whole show and do it without even letting us know that they do it. But we figured it out. We've got a lot of people waking up. All right, now this was brought to my attention by my friend Randy on Twitter. Yeah, my cat's here now, guys. She was sleeping this whole time, but now she woke up and she's licking my hands. Come here. Yep, you guys heard the cat. She doesn't meow too much when she's sitting on my shoulders, but if I don't pick her up, then she will start meowing. Well, a Texas diocese has publicly made officially open the names of 286 clerics who credibly are accused of sex abuse. This is a horrible story, but it's important to tell. Texas Catholic Diocese released a list of 286 clerics credibly abused of sexual abuse in fulfillment of their October pledge to name the accusers by January's end. The list is comprised of data from 14 dioceses across Texas whose bishops pledged in the wake of Pennsylvania's grand jury report on clergy sex abuse to examine church documents and publicly out those credibly accused. The list, released Thursday, includes accusations dating back to the 1950s. The Archdiocese of San Antonio released the most names of credibly accused priests with a total of 56. The Diocese of Laredo, by comparison, had no names to contribute, as it was established in 2000, only 2 years before the U.S. Catholic Church implemented new policies for preventing and reporting the child's sexual abuse. While several states have launched investigations into their Catholic churches and into individual dioceses concerning sexual abuse, Mark Rylander, spokesperson for the Texas Attorney General's office, said that Texas law prevented such an investigation into the state's diocese. There should be no safer place, not only in Texas but on earth, than the local church. But every state is set up differently. Every state has different statutes. Some states have the ability to go into an issue where there are reports like these and blow the whole thing up and prosecute and take down. In Texas, the law is set up differently. So we have to rely on local district attorneys from the 254 counties in our state to either refer the case to us or for our assistance as they investigate and prosecute the case, he added. State and federal authorities have, however, launched an investigation into the offices of Cardinal Daniel DiNardo of the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston, in connection with a case of alleged abuse in response to such a request. Thank God. Thank God stuff is finally happening. All right, guys. And we've got one more story, and then we're going to read the Q posts. White House reveals plans for Donald Trump's State of the Union. God, look at that. Look at that man. What a deal maker. Bringing it home for America. The White House revealed the theme and some plans for President Donald Trump's upcoming State of the Union address in a briefing to reporters Friday afternoon. The theme of Trump's address will be choosing greatness and will feature a call to unity, with a portion of it reading, "Together we can bring decades of political stalemate, we can bridge old divisions, heal old wounds, build new coalitions, forge new solutions, and unlock the extraordinary promise of America's future. The decision is ours to make." Amen. Amen, President Trump. The official also said he will formally ask Congress to begin review of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, which will replace NAFTA, consider legislation on prescription drug pricing, and add funding for infrastructure legislation. An appeal for a pro-life agenda and the current situation in Venezuela are also likely to be made and discussed. Trump told the Daily Caller in an exclusive Oval Office interview on Wednesday that the guests he was considering to accompany him will be border-related. Some of them will be people who have suffered very badly because we didn't do what we should have done in a very dangerous part of our country. And so that's going to be a part of it, absolutely. He's going to bring angel families. He's going to bring angel parents, angel wives, angel children, and they're going to sit directly across from Nancy Pelosi and her ilk, and they are going to be forced to face them. And if they boo them again, oh my God, they better watch out. Trump said that while some of the address will focus on the border crisis, other parts will touch on economic progress in the U.S., saying, at the same time, the world is not doing well, and we're doing great. You look at the numbers, we're hitting highs. I get no credit for it. It's like, when do you ever hear them talking about, we just hit 25,000, and you won't ever hear a thing about it. If President Obama were there, and don't forget, he was paying no interest, we're actually paying interest. You know, he was paying no interest. He didn't have liquidity being drained out of the market in order to pay down, which we have. How about $50 billion a month? $50 billion a month. If I had no interest, no liquidity situation with respect to the market, I mean, forget it. It would actually be incredible. It would actually be incredible, the numbers. Big difference, tremendous difference. That's an excellent point. God's guy, hey buddy, you're here. God is honoring our fasts and prayers, and here is some for you. Thank you so much, sir. I do appreciate that, buddy. I'm glad you're here. Is Gina there with you? Say hello. Hello, Gina. Yes, there we go. Yes, God is believable, and organized religion is the problem. And it's not necessarily organized religion. I'm going to bring it back to that article that I read earlier. It's the power structure, okay? It is the elite controllers that are the problem, all right? And the thing is that we have a system in the United States that rewards psychopaths, okay? If you are crazy, then you can rise to power, okay? People that want to control and subjugate and hurt other people, like Joe Biden, those people are rewarded for being cutthroat, all right? Like in like Wall Street or in government, okay? We are seeing that trickle down into our American society, and that's why I wanted to talk about that article, because it's so important. It's prescient. All right, guys, are you ready for the Q posts? We're gonna have to do this because I need to take a break before I go on the Space Shot 76 live stream. I hope that everybody will join us over at Space Shot 76's channel. I'm pretty certain that everybody who's here tonight watches Space Shot 76. But if you don't, please do subscribe. Oh, what am I going to Twitter? Gotta go to QMap. All right, so looks like we had 3 posts today. Yep. No, 2 posts. So this was the Democratic con job on January 13th. So first post of the day was at 1:22 p.m. I'm Eastern time, so it's showing Eastern time. This is post number 2674. D's pushing to legalize late-term abortions in infanticide. So we're going to read the embedded post first. Democratic Party con. When you can't raise money organically... Gina, hey, of course you're here. Thanks for the super chat. Glad you're here. When you can't raise money organically through party, individual donations, voter base, you steal it from the American taxpayer and give it back to yourself in the form of campaign contributions. Example 1, Planned Parenthood. $1.5 billion provided in taxpayer funding over a 3-year period. Case number 1. Planned Parenthood spent $30 million, disclosed, real estimates close to $65 million, in taxpayer subsidies to influence the outcome of the 2018 elections. Conclusion? Should it be legal for a taxpayer, Democrat, Republican, Independent, funded organization to donate massive amounts of money to the Democratic Party in an effort to sway an election? I'm going to say no. I don't believe that that should be legal. Democrat insider term, T-wash. I'm pretty sure that T stands for tax wash. Reread drops regarding Soros and taxpayer funding. Your hard-earned tax dollars at work. Vote, vote, vote. That is why it is so important. Mike is a good dude, but you're my favorite. Oh, God's guy. Thanks, buddy. I do appreciate that. So last post before going dark regarding Planned Parenthood. What events followed that post? Coincidence? Anons understand. What happened is that we had this entire national conversation about late-term abortions coming up. You have the leaders of these states. We had Virginia, New York, legalizing infanticide. You can have a baby and then they'll kill it. Like, what kind of monster would be okay with that? I can't believe that. It's just unfathomable to me to think that they would just believe that people would be okay with it. Now you've got the virtue signaling SJW, brainwashed people on the left. They're just following along. Okay, they're just being told what to do and what to say, and they're perfectly fine with it. Now, photo of fighter jets. Sysconf spec Y. I don't know what this stringer means, but let me go. Somebody had sent me. Oh, Tactical Shed. Let's see. My buddy Tactical Shed sent me a message. Where is it? Here we go. We're gonna bring this up onto my computer here. One sec as I get this. Here we go. All right, so Damascus missile strike image. So this photo from the Q drop, a pair of U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagles fly over northern Iraq after conducting airstrikes against Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant targets in Syria, September 24th, 2014. So this is from 2014. Pic used quite often, perhaps as part of a news code. Don't know. But I mean, it's a pretty picture, isn't it? You know, so these are Israelis flying these jets. They just did a raid over ISIS. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I am honestly at a loss for this one. If you guys have any ideas, by all means, drop it in the comments there. I'm going to open it up for a couple of questions, you guys. If anybody has any questions they want to ask me, or if they have any requests that you want to get into the chat before I say goodnight and move on to go do the live stream at Mike's channel. So I'm just going to hit my vape for a second. I'm going to say some kind words. I really do appreciate that everyone came in here for the live stream tonight. I want to thank everybody who has been watching my videos this week. You guys probably noticed that I had to switch it up a little bit. I was so busy this week. I couldn't make 2 videos a day. And I really do think that hang on, did somebody ask something? I didn't see a question. Modus operandi, was it a good live stream? I had such a busy week. I decided that I do better making 1 longer video per day than making 2 short videos. I think that I can focus more. I think that I am able to really put it together in a better way. Diana Davenport, do the people who say no wall, just drones think it would be more humane to just pick people off with drones? Why not minefields then? Jeez, that's an excellent point. Yeah, so if we only had drones and electronic dogs like Nancy Pelosi wants, you know that those people that were coming over the borders would probably just get eaten or blown up. Thank you for the super chat. It's a fairly inhumane way to do it. I think that the wall is the most humane because not only is it going to stop people from coming over into our country and hurting our citizens, it's also going to stop those people from crossing the desert and perhaps getting raped or murdered or starving to death or, getting dehydrated and just, like shriveling up out in the middle of the desert. So yeah, I think the wall is not only, about safety, but it's about humanity, Hey, wait. Nobody blocked modus operandi. You're not hidden, buddy. You're there. You're not blocked. And I just want to say, everybody, I don't want anybody getting blocked. Everybody who's here tonight, I'm pretty certain is a close personal friend. So my taxes are going to Planned Parenthood. Yeah, your taxes are going to Planned Parenthood, essentially. But RBG, I don't know if RBG is getting paid while she is in a coma or while she's attached to life support. I think that there actually was an assassination, Joey Liv, assassination attempt. I do believe that there was some code going on there. One thing I never got a chance to cover was the fact that they actually caught somebody who was heading to the White House with a bomb or something like that. Cory Booker is running for president, right? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Well, I think that Cory Booker running for president opens him up to the claims that were made about him attempting to sexually assault a young man in the bathroom. I think that Cory Booker is probably not going to do very well in his bid for the president. What's my take on Rife? well, I think that rifts could be a very positive thing. I think that we do need to drain the swamp, and I think that the administrative portion of the government is a very, very big part of that. Probably the largest part of it. My education is in public administration. At one point I wanted to work in government, and now that Trump is there, I think that it might be something that I would pursue. And I do need to say thank you very much, Sunday 2, for the super chat. Thank you for saying that's a great show. All right, you guys, I am going to be F15, February 15th. Oh my God. That's it. That's probably it. I think that's probably it. Okay, guys, I got to get going. I need to rest my voice. I need to get some water. And I need to let the dogs out because they're scratching at the door again. So thank you, everyone, for joining me once again. This has been Red Pill 78, the Corruption Detector, and Friday Night Live. Love you guys. Good luck, and God bless.